Chapter 2. Sunday night, supper was ever left over afternoon. If nothing's left over, Ma takes cold cornmeal, mush, and fries up a big slab, and then we get to put Carol syrup on it. But this night, there's still rabbit. Ugh, I don't want any. But I know Shiloh does. I wonder how long I can keep pushing that piece of rabbit meat around my plate. Not very long, I discover. You gonna eat that meat, or are you just gonna playing with it? Dad asks. If you don't want it, I'll take it for lunch tomorrow. I'll eat it, I say. Don't you be giving that to that dog, says Ma. I take a tiny bite. What's that doggy gonna eat then? Asks Becky. She's 3, which is 4 years younger than Darylyn. Nothing here, that's what, says Ma. Becky and Dana Lynn look at Dad. Now I have them feeling sorry for the beagle, too. Sometimes girl children get what they want easier than I do, but not this time. Dog's going right back across the river when we get through eating, says Dad. If that's Judd's new dog, he probably don't have sense enough to find his way home again. We'll put him in the Jeep and drive him over. Don't know what else I figured Dad to say. Do I really think he's going to tell me to wait till morning? And if the beagle's still here, we can't keep him? I try all kinds of ways to figure out how I could get that rabbit meat off my plate and into my pocket, but Ma's watching every move I make. So I excuse myself and go outside and over to the chicken coop. It's off towards the back where Ma can't see. We keep 3 hens, and I take one of the 2 eggs. That was the one in the nest, and I carry it out to behind the bushes. I whistle softly so Shiloh comes loping over towards me. I crack the egg and empty it out in my hands and hold my hands down low so Shiloh eats the egg, licking my hands clean afterwards, then curling his tongue down around my fingers to get every last little bit. Good boy, Shiloh, I whisper, and I stroke him all over. I hear the back screen slam and Dad comes out of the scoop. Marty! Yeah? I go around Shiloh at my heels. Let's take that dog home now, Dad says over and opens the door of the Jeep. Shiloh puts a tail between his legs and just stands there. So I go around on the other side and I get in and I whistle and Shiloh leaps up under my lap, but he doesn't look too happy about it. For the first time, I have my arms around him. He feels warm, and I stroke him. I can feel places in his body where he has ticks. Dog has ticks, I tell my dad. Judd'll take him off, Dad says. What if he don't? It's his concern, Marty, not yours. It's not your dog. You keep to your own business. So I press myself against the back of the seat as we start down the bumpy dirt driveway towards the road. I want to be a vet someday, I tell my dad. He says. I want to be a traveling vet. The kind that has an office and a van and goes around to people's homes. Don't make folks come to him. I read about it in a magazine at school. You know what you have to do to be a vet, Dad asks. Go to school. I know that. You've got to have college training. Like a doctor almost. Takes a lot of money to go to veterinarian school. My dream sort of leaks out like water in a paper bag. I could be a veterinarian's helper, I suggest, my second choice. Maybe you could, says Dad, and points to the Jeep up the road into the hills. Dusk is settling now. Still warm, though. A warm July night. Trees look dark against the red sky. Lights coming into the house here and another one over there. And I'm thinking how any one of these houses, there's probably somebody who would take better care of Shiloh than Judd Travers would. How come this dog had to be his? The reason I don't like Judd Travers is a whole lot of reasons. Not one, the least, is that I was in the corner store once down in Friendly and saw Judd cheat Mr. Wallace at the cash register. Judd gives the man a 10 and gets him to talking, and then Mr. Wallace gives him change, says he gave him a 20. I blink. like I can't believe Judge has done that. And old Mr. Wallace is all confused, so I say, no, I think you gave him a 10. Judd glares at me and whips out his wallet and waves the $20 bill in front of my eye. Whose picture's on this bill, boy? He says. I don't know. He gives me a look. I thought so. That's Andrew Jackson, he says. I had 2 of them in my wallet, and I walked in here, and now I only got 1. And there's a man that's got the other. I want my change. Mr. Wallace was so flustered, he just digs in his money drawer and gives old Judd change for a 20. And afterward I thought, what did Andrew Jackson have to do with it? Judd's so fast-talking, he can get away with anything. Don't know anybody who likes him much. But around here, folks keep to their own business. Like Dad says, in Tyler County, that's important. The way it is, always has been, and anyhow. Another reason I don't like Judd Travers is he spits tobacco out of the corner of his mouth. And if he don't like you, and he sure don't like me, he sees just how close he can spit to where you're standing. Third reason I don't like him is because he was at the fairgrounds last year, same day we were, and it seemed like every place I was, he was in front of me, blocking my view, standing in front of me in the mud bog, sitting in front of me at the tractor pull, and rising right up out of his seat at the Jordan Globe Death of Motorcycle act. So's I missed the best part. Fourth reason I don't like him is because he kills deer out of season. He says he don't, but I seen him once, just about dusk. The young buck strapped over his hood of his truck. He tells me that the buck run in front of him on the road and that he accidentally ran over it. But I saw the bullet hole myself. If he got caught, he'd have to pay $200 more than he got in the bank, I bet. We're in Shiloh now, and Dad's crossing the bridge by the old abandoned gristmill, turning at the boarded-up school, and for the first time I can feel Shiloh's body begin to shake. He's trembling all over, and I swallow. I try to say something, but my dad, and have to swallow again. How do you know about reporting somebody who don't take care of his dog right? I asked finally. Who do you fixin' to report, Marty? Judd. If this dog's mistreated, he's only about 1 out of 50,000 animals, that is. Dad says, folks even bring them up here in the hills and let them out. Figure they can live on the rats and rabbits. Wouldn't be the first dog that wasn't treated right. But this one came for me to help him, I insist. Knew that's why I was following me. I got hooked on him, Dad, and I want him to know he's treated right. For the first time, I can tell Dad's getting impatient with me. Now you get that out of your head right now. If Travers' dog, it's no mind of ours how he treats it. What if it was a child? I asked him, getting too smart for my own good. If some kid was shaking like this dog shaking, you wouldn't feel no pull for keeping an eye on him? Marty, Dad says now, his voice is just plumb tired. This here is a dog, not a child. It's not our dog. I want you to quit going on about this, you hear? So I shut up then. And I let my hands run over Shiloh's body, like maybe everywhere I touch, I can protect him somehow. We're getting closer to the trailer where Judd lives on with his other dogs. They're barking up a storm. Hearing Dad's Jeep coming up the road, Dad pulls over. You want to let him out, he says. I shake my head hard. I'm not letting him out here until I know for sure he belongs to Judd. I'm asking for a slap in the face, but Dad don't say anything, just gets out and goes up to the boards, and Judd laid out in the place of a sidewalk. Judd's at the door, and his trailer ready in his undershirt peering out. Looks like Ray Preston, he says, through the screen. How you doing, Judd? Judd comes out, little porch, and he's built at the side of his trailer, and then he stands there and talks a while. Up here in the hills, you hardly ever get down to business right off. First, you say your howdies, and then you talk about anything else about what you come for. And then finally, when the mosquitoes start to bite, you say what's on your mind. But you always edge into it. so not to offend. I can hear little bits of pieces floating over the yard, the rain, the truck, the tomatoes, the price of gasoline, and all the while Shiloh lays low in my lap, tail between his legs, shaking like a window blind in a breeze. And then the awful words. Say, Judd, my boy was up here along the river this afternoon, and a beagle followed him home. Don't you have any tags on his collar? But I'm remembering you got yourself another hunting dog, and I was wondering if maybe it might be yours. I'm thinking this is a bad mistake. Maybe it's Judd. It isn't Judd at all, but he's such a liar. He would say it was, just to get himself still another animal to be mean to. Judd hardly let him finish his sentence. Off across the muddy yard in his boots. Sure as heck bet it is, he says. Can't be that coon dog come to save my soul. Every time I take him hunting, he runs off before I'm through. I've been out all day with the dogs, and they'll all come back but him. I can hear Judd's heavy boots coming around the side of the Jeep, and I can smell the chewing tobacco, strong as coffee. Yep, he says, thrusting his face into the open window. That's him, all right. He opens the door. Get on down here, he says, and before I can even give the dog one last pat, Shiloh leaps off my legs and onto the ground and connects with Judd's right foot. He yelps and runs off behind the trailer, tail tucked down behind his belly to the ground. All of Judd's dogs, chained out back, bark like crazy. I jump out of the Jeep. Please don't kick him like that, I say. Some dogs just like to run. He runs all over creation, Judd says. I can tell he's studying me with his dark, trying to figure what's it to me. I'll keep an eye out for him, I said. Anytime I see him away from home, I'll bring him back. I promise. Just don't kick him. Judd only growls. He could be a fine hunting dog, but he tries my patience. I'll leave him in for tonight, but if he wanders off again, I'll whip the daylights out of him, guarantee you that. I swallow, and all the way home I can't speak a word, trying to hold back the tears.